10 players was asked to give our thoughts on the Cotto Martinez fight, which we purposely waited to do to avoid the sheep. But first we want to throw a 10 players holler out to Lion Leon, who informed us that one of his messages were missing. So we want to make this clear. We don't remove any messages or comments left in the comment section from real players. Now we was kicking it with one of our fellow channels one day, and each time we tried to reply to them, we couldn't find our conversation when we went to their channel. And they certainly wasn't deleting it. It's just some crazy ass YouTube glitch that happens at times. So if you ever leave a comment or message, and it vanishes, that shit's not us. Like, why the fuck would we do that? Our comment section isn't even a normal comment section. We're a request channel. It's not just our inbox. You can go to any video we do and see players leave lots of requests in our comment section as well. So no. We're not gonna be fucking around with comments, messages and requests. Just letting you all know in case it happens to you. It ain't us. Props to Lion for letting us know. But for now, we're gonna get to this Cotto Martinez fight. And no need to say much about what went on in the ring, because we spit all that shit before the fight. But a question people keep asking us is what we meant by saying Cotto winning is bad for boxing politics. Understand something though. We made that video before the fight, when Cotto was supposed to enter the ring last, as though he was the champ. And Cotto doing that, and winning. And we didn't say if he wins. We said winning would be bad, because we knew his win was gonna rationalize his diva demands to fight fans, and give birth to a whole new load of diva shit with fighters who have the bigger names wanting to be treated like belt holders, even if they're not the champ. We're talking serious shit with this A-side B-side bullshit. A complete change of the history of the fight game for years to come. No more standards. And if that's the case, what the fuck is the point of having belts in the first place? Belts hold less value these days than they ever have in the history of boxing. So doing this would make them completely worthless. I mean, what if the Heat went around telling teams they played on the road that they want to be introduced last, and that they want home teams to turn out the lights and spark up fireworks while introducing them? Because they're more popular. Because we got LeBron. Even though the Spurs just kicked their asses. Or maybe the Yankees should tell home teams they visit on the road that they're gonna bat last. Because they have the bigger name. And sell more hats than any other team. That would be some twisted shit. So the game needs to keep certain standards. The other thing we have to understand is that once shit like that happens, the buck doesn't stop there. Once that shit becomes normal, then a new demand arises. Then another and another. And sick fans will rationalize it. They'll claim it's okay for their fighter to demand his opponent has one of his hands tied for the first 3 rounds. Because he's the A-side. And a motherfucker like Bob is complying with the shit. Look. Aram's ass has been in the negotiating room even back when Ali was fighting. So he fucking knows better. Don't fuck with the red and blue corners. But guys like Aram will twist and manipulate the game in any way possible for the sake of control, and their pockets. I mean, look. You can go anywhere in the world, and play any motherfucker in a game of chess. You don't have to know them or even their language. Because the game itself is a universal language. But if you're gonna change the game according to who you're playing, then you're playing the role of the devil. We could do an entire video on how the outcome of a fight can be manipulated before fighters even step in the ring. And fans will never know. Like not being able to see the secret behind the trick the magician's pulling. But we want to give props to Cotto. Because he pulled a power move at the last minute. And came out first. No music or circus. Just straight up ready to rumble. Maybe he watched our last fight news video. We doubt it. But what he did proved our point in that video. What Cotto did ended up making him look better. Like, did it really fucking matter in the end? He walked out the ring the champ, the talk of the town, and the entire fucking boxing world. The other issue we had with the politics of the game, and Cotto winning, is this talk about a possible Mayweather rematch with Cotto. Only after the Martinez win. Look. It might seem like we're going on a Mayweather hate spree of late. So we want to make this clear. We're not. We're 10 players. Anything we say about Mayweather or any other fighter, good or bad, we always would have said, if we was asked those particular questions. Floyd's still our boy, and one of our favorite fighters. But we're getting sick of seeing him fighting guys after they come off big wins against fighters he refuses to fight. Hey. Look. We wanna explain this. The crocodile is a motherfucker. Outside the hippo, who'll snap a croc in half. Few creatures will fuck with a full-grown croc. He's a bully. An intimidator. And he's a sly motherfucker. Watch your ass getting a drink at that riverbed. Because he'll fuck with just about anything. And bodies and bones are shredded once he starts that death roll. Packs of full-grown crocs will arrogantly lay on the riverbed. Like kings. But if they hear this sound, they get the fuck out of Dodge. You see, the otter is a sweet, cute looking creature to most. They can even be loyal like a dog if you befriend one. They'll roll around playing, and hang by your side like a sweet little pup. But they'll eat a croc's fucking brains. And that ain't no metaphor. They'll kill that motherfucker with pleasure. And if you think they'll only do it in packs, and that a solo otter won't take on a full-grown croc, think again. They're swift. Will swim circles around a croc, rip that belly to shreds, and turn that fucker into a crocodile tent. Then eat his fucking face. But there's certain creatures the otter would have problems with. At least on land. That the crocodile wouldn't. Due to circumstances, anatomy and styles. And there's always been crocs in boxing. But when it comes to the fight game, Floyd Mayweather's one of those types of creatures. Who likes to fight otters. But he's not interested in any crocs. He'll avoid those crocs. Let time go by. And let those crocs eventually face the otters. Then when the otters destroy those big old dangerous crocs Floyd didn't want to face, he's suddenly down to fight the otters. He'll have rules though. Shit like, no fighting in the water. Only on land by the edge of the water. And no using your front otter teeth. We'll only fight at this otter weight. He'll make sure there's stipulations to take them out of their element. Then when he beats them, Floyd and his fans claim there's no way those crocs would have beat Floyd. Because Floyd beat the otter who beat the croc. Like Floyd would have beat the croc too. Tons of fans are already doing it over Cotto Martinez. Like Floyd would have destroyed Martinez because Cotto beat him. But the fact is, Floyd didn't. Martinez chased that fight for years. And Floyd evaded the question every time he was asked about it. And a Floyd Martinez fight would have looked nothing like the Cotto Martinez fight. We'd bet anything Martinez wouldn't have went down 3 times in the first round against Floyd. Now we're not saying Floyd couldn't beat Martinez, because we personally felt he could. But the fact remains. He never faced that croc. He let someone else do it instead. These are fights which would have left no debate when it comes to Floyd's legacy in history. We personally feel Floyd could have beat a lot of crocs. But he might get a few croc bites here and there which he didn't want. And yet, this particular croc was a cheat. We know. But Floyd sure the fuck didn't. So that's not why Floyd didn't face him. That's what we call a thunder thief. Always trying to steal someone's thunder. Just because you beat the man that beat the man, doesn't mean you can beat the man beat. But you want credit as though you beat the man beat, even though you didn't beat that man. Because the man beat was a croc. And you don't like crocs. We hope we're not tongue-twisting any heads in knots. But we're still waiting for Floyd to step in there with a croc. Because there's always been crocs in the fight game. And facing them is what made the greats great. But Floyd's let all his crocs come, go, retire, or left it to some otter to beat them. Now extreme Floyd fans will claim Floyd would have beat those guys. Yeah. Would've, should've, could've. But didn't. Thing is, if you're gonna claim you're greater than guys like Ollie, then you should have faced your crocs. Like he did. And this dumping golden boy should one day, after passing a load of golden fighters under the table, then taking it back the next. Perhaps because you had a problem getting licensed. Is some slimy bad for politics shit. This is how guys are teaching motherfuckers to deal. In the end it fucks shit up for fans. We've got fighters pulling out of shit, while not getting the fights we wanna see. If you have 2 teams no one can beat, we know they'll end up facing each other. But that's not how it is in boxing. Every time a fighter pulls out of a fight we question the shit. Half the time a fighter injured some shit in training. Yeah. He has a doctor's note. Look. Any regular Joe can get a fucking doctor under his belt. You'd be shocked if you knew how much shit doctors would do for chump change in the back office. Then we've gotta listen to these motherfuckers thanking Al Heyman non-stop.
Thank you, Al Heyman.
Yeah. Thank you, Al Heyman. For the Stevenson-Sergey fight we didn't get to see. We'll just sit back and wait for Mayweather to choose his next hand-picked opponent for us to watch him fight. Yeah. How about we pick your next opponent instead? Or don't watch you at all. But no. Mayweather can't have that. We might pick a croc. As for Cotto, he's had one of the most powerful names in the game for a while now. Bigger than people think. One Cotto fight can actually create hype jobs. Take this Lara Canelo fight. You know why this fight is getting attention. We'll tell you. Bingo. That's right. Trout beat Cotto. So Canelo fighting Trout became a big deal. Only because Trout beat Cotto. Then Lara beat Trout. And that became a big deal. All because Canelo beat Trout too. So since both of these guys beat Trout it became a big deal. Only because Trout beat Cotto. No Cotto, and none of that shit matters. But we said it before and we'll say it again. A lot of fighters gear up according to their competition. I mean you're not gonna train like a madman to fight someone's grandma. Problem is, sometimes it leads to an upset. All because a tubby cupcake eating Cotto didn't train for Trout. And a big hype job gets created. That's how much future bullshit can spin off from Cotto alone. And the world won't even see the cause. That's why we said his diva shit was bad for boxing politics. Fortunately Cotto did the right thing in the end. But as we said before, if you think Cotto trained for Trout the same way he did for Mayweather, think again. We don't give a shit if Cotto claims he trained. Naturally he'll try that humble shit. But Cotto trained for that fight by eating cupcakes. He probably didn't even remember he was fighting until the day of the fight. His wife was probably like, "Hey honey, don't forget you're fighting that guy tonight." And Cotto was like, "Oh, is the fight today? In an hour you said. Thanks for telling me. What's his name again?" "I don't know." "Did you train?" "No, I didn't train." "I'll train now." Then he did a fucking push-up. While eating a donut. And motherfuckers swear Trout and everyone who beat Trout is big shit. Because Trout beat the cupcake eating Cotto who didn't train. We fucking know. I mean we looked at his fucking body before he entered the ring. But we can tell you this. Cotto seems to have his shit together with Roach. One of the things Cotto doesn't get credit for, is being one of the most well-rounded boxers in the game. I mean Cotto can actually box. And his options are better than anyone in the fight game today. He can have anyone from the winner of Lara Canelo, to Triple G, Quillen, to Kirkland, Demetrius, the twins, and more. Now a lot of fans are talking Canelo or Triple G for Cotto next. But if he shoots for the money, then it'll be Mayweather. Personally, that's a fight we prefer not seeing. We'd rather see Cotto in against fresh meat. Unless it's Mayweather's final fight. Naturally we'll watch if it happens. But if Cotto loses that fight, then once again Floyd gets credit for beating a croc he didn't face. Because he beat the guy who beat the croc. And if Cotto wins, then we'll probably have to see a Cotto Mayweather 3. Because you know damn well there'll be a rematch clause.